We talk a lot about how routine makes writers better writers. By sitting in the same chair, in the same corner, at the same time, for the same amount of time every day, and doing that writing, it trains our bodies and our minds to get into writing mode a lot faster. We are conditioned that when we are in that specific environment, we are going to be working in this specific way. And if we just kind of did it whenever, it takes longer for our brains to get engaged and get into a productive writing spot. But it's not just about when you write or where you write or how long you write. It's as small as the simple things that you are setting up on your computer. So if you do not have the ability to have a specific writing schedule or a location to write, you can actually still condition yourself to be in the right mindset faster. Let's talk a little bit about how you set things up on your computer. And this is different for everybody. Now, don't forget, I have a full series with many authors joining me, showing us how they write on screen. They show us their desktops and they show us what things they have up, how they get into their writing periods, all of those things. You can check that out and see what's going to work best for you to cobble together pieces from each of us to form the best writing situation for yourself. But I want you to start thinking about your computer screens and your writing space. Even if you are not in the same environment, even if you are on vacation, even if you are at a restaurant, even if you're not in your home, even if your schedule got messed up for the day and you're writing at a weird time, no matter what's going on around you physically, you still have your computer. You have to write on your computer. And if you're not writing on your computer, you're writing on a piece of paper. You have things set up a specific way. To write, you must have that thing that you're writing with. That will always be the same. And you can condition yourself through that. So let's think about it. For me, when I am sitting down to write, I have 3 screens on my computer, on occasion 4. And it's always the same. If you go look at my episode, you can actually see it on screen. I will have in the middle a document where I'm writing. This is my manuscript. To the left side of that, I have a running timeline. I have the chapter and the page number in my Word doc that I'm writing on, and a bullet point list of everything that's happening. Over to the right, I then have my character notes. That is where I'm creating my character Bible: hair color, eye color, scars, injuries, family, people they're connected to, things that happen to them that I'm going to have to remember later on in the story. All of that is there. Now, on occasion, depending on what type of story I'm writing, I might have a 4th window. That 4th window may have character art. It may have a live stream of an environment I'm writing about. For example, when I write my mermaid stories, sometimes I put on an underwater ocean live stream where I can see the seaweed and the fish and all of the things so that I have those vibes near me. I always set up my screen in the same way. But beyond that, I have other things available to me and in specific locations. So off to the side, I'll have a little folder if I have extra things that I need. Extra documents, character art, vibe art, whatever. Those things are there and accessible for me if I need it. And the sheer act of setting this up gets me into the correct writing mode. So I open them in the same order. The more you create a strategy for this and a schedule that you follow just on your computer, the more you are going to train yourself to get into that mode simply by how you're opening your documents up. So I always open my manuscript first. Then I open my timeline, and I'm moving these around on screen as I'm doing it. I don't just pull them up and then organize them, but you can do whatever you want. Whatever works for you trains your body and your mind to get into writing mode as you are doing those consistent actions. So I open up my Word doc first for my manuscript. I put it right in the middle. Then I'll open up my timeline and I'll move it over to the left side of the screen. I will make it smaller so that it doesn't take up my entire screen because my manuscript is bigger and the 2 things on the other side are going to be smaller. And then I will position it so that the words are directly against the edge of the screen. So I have to move that bar over to position those things. Now I'm going to access my character list. I'm going to reposition that however I need. And if I have something up at the top corner, like that live stream or the character art, I'm going to lower that so it is 2/3 of my screen instead of the full third or the full side of it. I'm taking those small actions and I'm moving those things around. Now, if my Word documents are opening up where the words are smaller, I may have to change the sizing or the spacing of things so that I can see it easier. You know, from my episode of Show Me How You Write, I changed the background color of my images. That is consistently there. I don't have to redo that as I'm opening my documents. But by taking small steps to do whatever I need to do, especially if you are going to do something like where you're ending, you highlight that in red, or you are changing the colors of things, or if you know you need to access something to fix it later, you're changing those colors and going in and changing that before you start writing. All those things are going to get you in the proper mindset for this. So I want you to start thinking of your process and the layout of your screen. And the same way that you are opening those things up every single time will train your brain and train your body to get into that mindset, the same as if you were to sit in the same chair, in the same corner, with the same mood lighting at the same time of day to get you into writing mode faster. Those small actions, by creating a consistent schedule with them, will get you ready to write better. If you do things willy-nilly, if you just kind of do whatever, whenever, it takes you longer to get into a productive mode of writing. Because let's be clear, there's writing and then there's productive writing. And our beginning writing usually isn't the greatest. And we have to go back and we have to fix some of the stuff that we do at the beginning of a writing session because it's not our strongest content because we're not in writing mode yet. We don't get to that productive period until we get into it a little bit. By taking some of that out of the way, we're able to write more productively quicker in how we are doing things. So by setting something up so that it is a planned schedule where our bodies know, oh, okay, I'm opening this window and I'm moving this over here, I'm moving this over here. I guess it's time to write. We better get into the right mindset. We better get going and make this most productive that we can make it. It's going to work better for you. So what can you do? How can you create a strategy so that you are physically doing things to train your brain and your mind? Your brain and your mind are the same thing, but your body as well, to do what you need it to do faster. It's just like conditioning yourself for anything, whether you are training for a marathon or you are learning to do a new hobby or a new task. You have to start with those little steps. And when you get into those little steps and you start to make progress with those, it makes you work faster. So if you are going to be training for some kind of physical activity, if you kind of do like the warm-up exercises faster, your body's going to get faster aligned with what you're going to be doing. So whereas the beginning of it, it took you a longer time to get into it to be able to do that run or to do those lifts or to do whatever. Now, because you know a series of steps that you are taking to do that, your body is going to align with what you're doing a little bit faster and a little bit easier. You are going to make things easier on yourself. And we talk about this a lot in like content creation. When we're filming videos, the first couple things that we say are usually pretty weird and wonky and not a great fit. We don't always use the first take of the things that we say because we have to train ourselves to get into a point where we can just have those conversations on camera, right? When I batch create, the first video I film, usually not the greatest, or I'll have to do 3 or 4 takes to get that intro right to be able to have the conversation. But then once I get into it, I can just knock out 5, 6 videos without any issues because I got myself into that mode. And then, of course, by setting up my studio, the space that I'm going to be filming in the same way, by setting up my camera source, by setting up my lights, by dealing with my background and doing it in a specific order, that helps to get in the correct mode as well. I get there faster so that I don't waste as much time. You can do that with your writing by using and leveraging your computer or your writing space to create that and train your body to get into that mode faster. Will it mean that you can automatically write the most wonderful manuscript ever? No, of course not. But it does mean you're going to be able to move from your figuring it out into your productive stage faster. And that's what we want. We want to save you time and effort and stress. You can maybe waste a paragraph on the wonky stuff and then get right into the productive stuff, whereas it might have taken a page or 2 before for you to get into the productive stuff that you then have to go back and fix. Our goal here is to make sure that you're creating strategy, you are scheduling things, and you're doing things on a physical level that allow you to make the most of your time and not waste time while you're working. There's a lot of things you can do for this, and if you've got suggestions or if you have questions, drop those down below. We're coming back with upcoming episodes to help you navigate the world of your writing, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable year ever with less time, less stress, less overwhelm, less commitment to this, to making sure that your business is working for you so that you can walk away at any given time and your business will still make money for you so you can live your best life and live out those author dreams without the stress that we put on ourselves as writers. We're going to fix that up, clean that up for you, and make this a whole lot easier for you to live out those author dreams. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.